scores are here. Your buddy scores are. So listen, what I'm going to do here is now it's midnight as I'm recording this. I just got all the predictions done for Wednesday's contest, and what I ordinarily do is I get it all set up and then wait and see how the line moves the next day, and then I adjust accordingly. But I'm not going to have time to do that tomorrow. I've been these Zoom calls all day tomorrow, and was in them today. And if it's anything like today was, we didn't get much of a break. We got about a half-hour lunch, and that was really it. So I don't think I'm gonna have time to go back and check out these lines and then do another video. So I'm gonna be just doing it tonight and releasing this in the morning. But it's interesting though. Computers making some pretty wild predictions, and I thought I would go over them real quick. But let me, it's a big night. It's 50 plus games on Wednesday, but let me just get through these things just so they're all on record and can be validated and verified. Uh, Xavier at home to Ball State, 18 and a half. Computer says 22, taking Xavier. Chattanooga on the road against UNC Asheville, 7.5. Chattanooga is a good team. Computer says they'll win by 24, so we're taking Chattanooga. George Washington at home to Coppin State. Both these teams are struggling. 7.5 points. Computer agrees that GW will win the game, but not by 7.5. So Coppin here. We're playing the dog. That's a risky call because Coppin's not really all that good. Hofstra on the road to Stony Brook. 3.5 says Vegas. Computer says 15. Look for Hofstra to cover on the road. North Alabama and Alabama A&M. Vegas says 8.5. Computer says 19. That's a solid play. North Alabama at home against Alabama. It's solid. Canisius on the road, Northern Kentucky. I like both these teams a lot. Computer says Kentucky in a squeaker 2-point victory, but they're laying 6.5, and that's too many for Canisius. So the computer's taking them, taking Canisius. Youngstown State, who's playing really well, and Central Michigan, who is not. 10.5. Computer says 28. Home game for Youngstown. That's a solid play right there. I would definitely take that as well. Fairfield, a good team. No, they're at home to Holy Cross, a bad team. 14.5 is the line. Computer says 25. Take Fairfield. This one's tough. I mean, almost impossible to pick this one. Wisconsin at home to Indiana. And, I give the edge to Wisconsin for sure, but Indiana's a great team as well. But this is the problem here. Vegas line says 3.5. Computer says the only one by 3. I'm physically forced to take Indiana and the dog here. And I'm not all that upset about it. I don't think that's a terrible play. VCU at home to Jacksonville State, which I was a little bit surprised at this. 8.5 is the line. Computer says 9. That's what I was surprised at. But again, it puts me at that half-point situation. But I think the indications are that VCU will probably win and cover that game, and that's the play we're going with. Delaware at home to Lafayette. Delaware is actually a pretty good team. Lafayette maybe not so much. 19 is the computer. 12.5 says is the line. Delaware is the play. St. Bonaventure, I started them out in the top 20. They haven't been all that fantastic lately, but Loyola Maryland is not anything to really get excited about either. 18.5 is the line. The computer comes up with 18. We're another half point. That hook is just killing me. Physically forced to take Loyola of Maryland. I'm not all excited about it. This was an interesting play. Lipscomb's got some strong numbers. Miami at home, laying 13.5. Computer says 9. So we're taking Lipscomb here. That's an interesting play. Marist at home to Binghamton, 2.5. Computer says Marist by 6. UMass Lowell at home to Boston U, 6.5 is the line. Computer says Boston U wins, but only by 3. So play the dog there. It's going to get interesting here in a little bit, folks. Trust me. Niagara on the road to Eastern Michigan. Computer says 9. Vegas says 1.5. I hate the home dog. I hate to bet against the home dog, but in this case, that's pretty overwhelming. I think Niagara is a good play. St. Joe's at home to Penn. I like Penn. I think they're a good team. 3.5 is the line, but it that 7 points is too much, so we're taking St. Joe's. And in reality, I have to do what the computer says. That's the contest. So Quinnipiac on the road to Dartmouth. Dartmouth's not really all that great. 3.5 points. Computer says Quinnipiac by 4. I'm right there fighting that half-point line again. Sanford at home to Alabama State. This will be a cover for sure. That's a solid place. Take Sanford and lay those points there. American U is just shows absolutely no signs of life. I mean, Vegas is 3.5. Computers is 22 because they're not awful. St. Francis, Pennsylvania is pretty. Yeah, they're not awful. I'm gonna stop short of saying they're a pretty good team. I'm just gonna say they're not awful. American U is awful. St. Peter's and the other St. Francis. So there's two St. Francis's, one of Pennsylvania, one of New York. They're both in the Northeast Conference to add more confusion to things. St. Francis is not great, but St. Francis is really, really not great. St. Peter's out of the MAC. That's a strong play. I expect that to be greater than 15, so I feel good about that play. So we've got a number of potential money line calls. I mean, I haven't counted them up, but boy, there's a bunch. Western Carolina at home to Tennessee Tech. I can't tell who is home there, actually. Well, computer says 2-point game. Tennessee Tech prevails. Getting a half a point from Western Carolina. So that makes this a money line call. And so we're going to take Tennessee Tech there. And it's going to be a squeaker any way you look at it. This one I like a lot. West Virginia, again, it's the home dog. And I don't like that. But UConn's a monster. And they're getting 1.5 points. And computer says, no, this is going to be a runaway for UConn. So I like this play a lot. There's a couple here of these money lines I don't like so much. But, this game here, last time I bet Florida to win and cover a big number, they lost by 15. But this is North Florida. No signs of life from North Florida. So, unless just Florida, I can't imagine two, terrible outings in a row. I just can't imagine that. I think Florida covers here. So Wagner has 4 finals, and they were all pretty good finals for Wagner. I'm going to look at Wagner and tell you what the computer is seeing here, because who in their right mind would suggest that little Wagner could go into Penn State, a good Big Ten team and come away with a victory? Well, Wagner, so they had some COVID issues, and so they had to miss 3 or 4 games. So we've only got 4 finals from them. But if you look at these finals, they're kind of telling. Hartford, who has been a good team, they beat them by 18 points, and then at VCU beat them by 14 points. So Wagner's got some game. They got crushed by Seton Hall, and then they bounced back and beat Stony Brook, and that's all we know about Wagner. But what we do know about Wagner is, kind of interesting. So is it crazy to suggest that, getting 9.5, betting the dog here to win? Because we're getting 9.5. Computer says Wagner wins by 11. Now, I don't think that's accurate, but a money line play nonetheless. We're just going to see how that one plays out. But that's my concern, is we just don't have much information on Wagner. Wofford on the road at Gardner-Webb, 3.5. Wofford's a good team, and so is Gardner-Webb, but Wofford's a really good team. So we like this play here. Wofford to win and cover. Evansville, good team, but Southeast Missouri State's been playing pretty good too. 1.5 is the line. Computer says 5, so we're taking Evansville. Missouri State, very good team. Laying 11.5 at Little Rock. Computer says, yeah, take it. Missouri State wins and covers here. Now, this one is perplexing because New Hampshire, I'm going to give you some on New Hampshire. Not a lot of finals from them. They've only played 5 games. Lost to Marquette by 5. lost to Providence, a monster, by 9. Beat Quinnipiac by a ton. Beat Holy Cross, a bad team, by a ton, and beat Central Connecticut, a bad team, by a ton. So that's what we know about New Hampshire. And the lost by 5 to Marquette and by 9 to Providence. That's good numbers. Bryant just got beat by 67. What on earth is Vegas thinking here? Why would Bryant be giving away points? We're going to take them and play this money line. I like this play a lot. I think that's almost a sure thing. Boy, I tell you, I saw that. I just really had to take a look and think, what is Vegas thinking here? It makes no sense. Buffalo on the road to Western Kentucky. 3.5's the line. Computer says 5, so we're taking Buffalo. There's another very interesting play right here. So Dayton has been really interesting to watch because there's a ton of fight in Dayton. They'll fight you. SMU is a good team, but I don't see the fight in them. The numbers just aren't screaming off the page. 3.5. SMU laying 3.5. Computer says it's a 3-point victory for Dayton, so that it's a money line play. And I like this play. I think Dayton's going to give SMU fits because, like I said, man, they'll fight you. There's some bite in that dog. Colorado's really good. 14.5 is the line. The computer says 16. They cover. Louisiana laying too many to McNeese. 14.5. We're taking the dog here. Taking McNeese to play. Two teams that we really don't know much about. Texas A&M at Corpus Christi laying 2.5 to UT Rio Grande Valley. Computer says 13. I'm just going to run with it. We just don't have a lot of info on either team. Utah's a good team. They're on the road at TCU. I think that's why Vegas is giving away points. But we're going to take them. We'll scoop them up because the computer says Utah wins by 4, and we're getting a 1.5. Anytime you see the shade green, that's a money line potential game. So we're going to hope for a money line victory here. Now, this is the one that's got me all kind of confused. UMBC getting 7.5 from Georgetown at Georgetown. The computer says UMBC wins this game. What? Am I crazy? This is not some kind of stunt. Let's look at UMBC. So lost by 17 to UMass, a good team. Beat Western Carolina by a ton, not a bad team. Lost to Longwood by a ton. Okay, that's not a good thing, but Longwood's not bad. Here's this American U. So UMBC crushed them 98 to 67. Lost by 10 to Pitt. Lost by 38. Oh, no, they beat Columbia. Columbia's not a good team, but beat them by 38. And then most recently lost to Delaware, a good team, by 10. Well, let's go look at Georgetown. What's up with Georgetown? Are they? In fact, we have a common opponent here we can look at. Well, that's interesting. So Georgetown has lost to Dartmouth, beat American U 79 to 57. UMBC beat them by 30 plus. Beat Siena, not a good team. Lost huge to San Diego State by 17. Lost to St. Joe's. We've got two common opponents. Okay, beat Longwood 91-83. Well, that's interesting because I think UMBC lost to Longwood. They did, yeah, by a lot. So there's some cross signals there. It all shakes out to, I don't think this is crazy. I really don't think this is crazy to say that UMBC beats Georgetown at home. I just don't think that's crazy. So we're going to play this game, and we're going to keep a close eye out on it. This one is crazy. Why would Montana be laying 7.5 to Air Force at home? 7.5? Computer says Air Force wins this by 12. What is Vegas thinking here? I don't get that one. So we think that's going to be an easy money line win for us. Okay, Arkansas State laying 13.5 to Arkansas Pine Bluff. You bet, no problem. They'll cover there. Va-Tech, way too many points. Cornell's a good team. Virginia Tech laying 17.5 rather. Computer says Cornell wins this Cornell comes up short, but only by 16. So we're going to play the dog here. And I like that play. I think that's a good play. Drake on the road to Omaha, a truly awful team. The computer says it's a 40-point victory. Vegas says 19.5, no problem at all. Drake's going to cover that, no problem at all. Kansas State and Marquette. I almost thought this would be a money line play because Kansas State was a money line win versus Wichita just last weekend, which we won. That was a game we played and won. But here they are at home to Marquette, and I thought maybe Vegas would lay some points. You know, Vegas seems to really like Marquette a lot, and they are a good team. But instead, Kansas State's laying 2.5 here, according to Vegas, and the computer says by 6. So K-State's our play, and I'm not unhappy about it. So this one is really interesting because Michigan State is so good and so tough, but Minnesota, they went down to surprise Mississippi State at Mississippi State over the weekend. So Minnesota's a good team, and here they are at home, and getting 6.5 from Michigan State. Let me think this through. Michigan State lands 6.5. We say Michigan State wins by 8. So I want, this is wishful thinking, folks. I'm gonna have to change this. I wanted to play Minnesota so bad, but we're gonna have to take Michigan State. My apologies. I'll get this fixed. South Dakota State, who is really a good team, secretly really good. Idaho, not good. Not so much of a secret. They're really bad. 19.5 on the road. South Dakota State laying 19.5 to Idaho. And computer says it's going to be worse than that. Idaho. This one I don't know I agree with, but Ohio State at home laying 14.5 to Towson. Towson computer says loses by 6, so we're going to take the dog, and I'm going to expect a major big time blowout from Ohio State, but we're playing what the computer says here. BYU is really good despite that loss to Utah Valley, laying 6.5 to another really good team, Utah State. We're taking the dog here at BYU because that's a good team. 6.5 is just too many. We think that BYU wins, but not by 6.5. So we're taking Utah State. So here's Utah Valley we're just talking about. And this one I don't get at all either because Utah Valley has got strong numbers, even beyond the win against BYU. Southern Utah is much improved, but they're not Utah Valley at this point right now. I don't know what they're thinking, but they're getting this, should say 4.5, not 45. This is going to be another money line play, and I think that one stands a really good chance. I don't see Southern Utah giving away points to Utah Valley. It makes no sense to me at all. San Diego State laying 12.5 to Cal State Fullerton, and computers Cal State Fullerton here. So we're taking the dog. This one, San Francisco is a really good team, and Fresno's good, but they're on the road at USF. 10.5 is just too many to give to Fresno State, so we're playing Fresno on the dog here. So as bad as Idaho is, Idaho State is right there with them. I don't know. I think that somebody ran around ripping down basketball goals, 18, 20 years ago in the state of Idaho, and they're just really bad at basketball up there. 11.5 is the line. Cal's going to smoke that. It's 21. Cal's going to win there. This one I think I'm a little bit crazy on, but Seattle U's got the numbers to beat UNLV. They really do. They're getting 4.5. Computer says Seattle beats them by 14. I don't know that I believe this, but that's the play we're sticking with. Okay, Washington State. Probably a better team I'm giving them credit for because I'm looking at their schedule. They're actually pretty good, but they did lose to Eastern Washington at home, which I just don't know how you rationalize that and still consider them. But they only gave up. Vegas had, when USC came to Washington State, only had that line as 0.5 point for USC, and it was a dogfight. So coming around on Washington State, I guess. I just have always loved Weber. They're such a good program. And we're fighting this 0.5 point. We're going to take the dog here. just not this isn't me, it's the computer, but I don't mind this pick because I just think Weber's a good program, and I'm not completely sold on Washington State. So computer loves Wyoming, and but the computer really loves Arizona. Got him number 3 in the country. So as much as it likes Wyoming, it's realistic. So 14 and a half is a ton of points to give a good team like Wyoming, but a computer is suggesting that Arizona will cover that. So those are the lines. Had to get it out tonight. I'm actually going to release this in the morning. Uh, I'm not going to have another chance to get to it, so I won't be able to move these lines like I like to do. So we're just going to play with what we got going. It could be a crazy night in college basketball. You look at some of these games. You know, in particular, this UMBC and Georgetown game. You know, I think that's a legit shot at a good money line play. That's in your pocket. I mean, I can't rationalize that. Anyways, it'll be fun to see him play out and see how well the computer does. So we'll wrap up tomorrow after the games go final. We'll do a wrap up show. Might throw a little live stream in there while the East Coast games are going final, and then take a little break and then come back with a wrap up show after the West Coast games go final. So that's sort of the plan for tomorrow. So hope you join me and hope to see you then. So I shall now bid you